Hey everybody, so in this video, I'm gonna be going over the problems that I have run into and that I see most new entrepreneurs run into in their infancy stage of their business. Infancy stage is usually like revenue mark. So it's like the first $1 million in revenue. So this is what I've experienced. Like I said, what I see a lot of other people experience. So maybe this can help you avoid some of the shortcomings and shortfalls that I've had. The first thing is lack of sales experience. So many entrepreneurs struggle with selling, which is the most critical skill at this stage. You don't need to have a perfect product. You don't need to have the best thing on the market. You just need to be able to sell whatever it is that you have. So many entrepreneurs get stuck in trying to refine and have this perfect product that they're gonna blow the marketplace away with. I catch myself doing this right now. I'm working on a project right now where I'm running into this literally every single day. I'll want to tweak and improve and do something to adjust the product, but the reality is that I don't need something perfect. Like, how many companies out there actually have perfect products? Not many. Coca-Cola gives you cancer. Like, what? iPhone breaks all the time. They come up with Apple Intelligence. It's supposed to be really cool. Literally slowed my phone down like 1,000%. Like, I turned it off. I'm like, this is terrible. So you don't need to have a perfect product. You just have to be good at selling. What's Apple good at? Selling. Get experience selling. And the only way to do it is just to get in the trenches selling your products. Now, you can watch stuff on YouTube and all this stuff, but do more now, figure it out later. That's what a mentor of mine says. Just go out there, knock on people's doors, make some cold calls, call your friends and family, try to sell them your products. If you're scared to do that, you ain't got what it takes. Like, you gotta promote your product. So learn sales, okay? You're gonna learn the niches of your products and how to sell it, what the pain points are, how to custom tailor it for your audience. That's really the first thing I see most entrepreneurs run into. Now, what I did to improve my sales experience, well, first I just had to go out there. I didn't have any sales training. Where I started in sales, it was just go sell that, right? I think the biggest lesson I got from that was rejection. A lot of sales is just not caring about rejection. Once I stopped caring about rejection, my sales increased dramatically. I sounded like a good salesman when I stopped caring what people told me, and when I stopped caring what people, if people gave me pushback, and when I started actually caring about like their problems and their needs and caring about them. So when I started caring about them more than I cared about the rejection, right? Because if you feel rejected, that's very selfish. It's like a very egotistical thing. But when you start focusing on the wants and needs and relationship you have with your clients, it just helped me overcome that, because I'm like, this ain't even about me. This is about you. Learn sales. There's steps to the sales process. You can take sales training courses. That's great. I strongly encourage that. Those help me so much get better at sales, but you have to actually get out there and do it first. So before you invest in like a ton of sales products and stuff, check out some videos on YouTube, the like basics of a sales process to get an idea, but you're really just gonna have to go out and try to sell it. Now, the next issue, unclear product and market fit. So this is really figuring out whether the product or service truly solves a problem for their customers. Who is this product going to be for? Who am I going to sell this for? Because you might have run a product that solves problems for people in a way that you can't anticipate it solving problems for people. So example, say you have a software. So I'm getting technical here. This is like, this may not apply to a lot of people, but say you had a software not functioning properly for your clients, right? Then another software that could like make yours better so that yours delivered better to your clients, that guy is going to sell you his software to improve the delivery of your product. So like, maybe that guy who has that software that improves your software, maybe he started out trying to sell that just like direct to consumer for whatever it was for, and then realize, hey, this is better like business to business stuff. So you're going to learn things like, hey, is this better direct to consumer or is this better business to business? So right now, the product that I'm developing, I am going business to business so that those businesses can sell directly to the consumer. It's like, you may want to sell your product directly to consumer, or maybe you'd go business to business and then they would resell your product, or that they would take advantage of the product. So think of like drop shipping, right? They don't do business to consumer. The manufacturers do business to business because they work with you as the drop shipper, and then you sell direct to consumer. There's these different relationships that happen in business, and you just have to figure out who's your target audience, where does it fit in that market, who does your product solve a problem for. That is something I had to deep dive in with the product that I've been developing, new product over the last couple of years. And Alex Hormozy talked about it the other day, and it really hit me. It was really cool. I felt so proud of this because like, he's like, you can pick a product real quick and sell it to make a little bit of money, or you can take 2 years developing an amazing product that will like change your life or something like that. And I'm like, dang, that's what I'm doing. And I didn't do it because of that. I just saw it and I related to it because I'm like, yo, I've been That's what I've been doing, my man. But I was thinking at first that this product would be direct to consumer, but it's actually business to business. So you're gonna have to do that. You're gonna have to take and trial and error, right? It's kind of how you learn. So this is a problem that you're gonna run into in the infancy stage of your business, is figuring out, hey, who is your target audience? Who is this really solving a problem for? Next problem is cash flow. Limited funds make it hard to sustain operations before consistent revenue kicks in. You don't need to go rent an office, probably. You don't need to go like pay LegalZoom $1,000 to start your LLC or whatever. Like, honestly, I started before I even had an LLC. I didn't know what it was. My first business, I was just like, yeah, it's me, Justin. What up? How do I pay you? I don't know, write me a check. I didn't have an LLC. So don't do all these other things. Like, you need to make sales. You have to make sales to generate revenue for your business. If you're gonna get something and you're gonna spend money on something, you need to see like, hey, is this really, really necessary? With the products that I was selling in my first business, I could have had an office that people came into, but I didn't. I went to their house. Just be careful about what you spend money on at first. And this is a big thing too. If you get one big deal or you get like a couple clients, do not commit right away to a long-term payment. Like, don't do it unless you can get out of it quickly. So like, don't do like a 3-year office lease because you had a couple good sized deals. Now, if you make millions on the deals, and then maybe that's a little different. Like, you have to figure out, how do you sell your product? That's the most important thing, because you have to solve that cash flow problem. I had a cash flow issue when I started. I maxed out all my credit cards. Like, I was in so much debt, it was crazy. I was in like 60 or 70,000 of credit card debt. I had no money. So I risked it all to make it happen. Next thing, wearing too many hats. So a hat is like a job. When you're just starting out, you have to handle everything. Sales, marketing, advertising, operations, customer service, hiring, like everything. So you have to handle everything on your own. And it's extremely stressful. And then the funny thing is, you're gonna be doing all this stuff, right? And then once you hire someone to do one thing, when they don't do it the way that like it should be done, it's irritating, because you're like, dude, I did your job and all these other jobs and still got it done, but you're struggling to do your job. That's something I deal with today. It's like a thing I'm working on, right? Being like, why isn't someone able to do this job? Because I did this plus 5 others. So you're gonna see that when you start, because you don't have the staff yet. You're gonna be handling emails. You're gonna be on your phone all day, like literally all day is your business, because you have so many jobs. Once you have that cash flow coming in, then you can invest in someone to help multiply your time. Big thing is you're gonna run into, you're gonna feel overwhelmed. That's just what it is. As you're getting to that first $1 million, you're gonna feel overwhelmed, 100%. The next thing, you don't really have any systems or processes. I'm a big systems guy. Like, I'm obsessed with automating things and make it efficient and easy. So it's just like flick a switch and it's done. That's it. Like, I love that stuff. Like, getting in there and figuring out all that stuff. I'm like, how do I make this into something that just runs? But you don't have that when you start. Over time, you're gonna figure out systems and processes to make your job easier. So pretty much what I did is I looked at everything I did in my business on a day-to-day basis, and I was like, what am I doing that's the same from one day to the next, or has very little variation? And how can I make this, how can I automate this? Or maybe, hey, where can I offload this to someone else as I'm making money to hire a staff member to help multiply my time? Now, I know some people say like, only hire someone if they're like 25% of your income or something like that, like 25% of what you make. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me, because I needed people in my business that were more talented than me at certain things, and they cost money. If I can pay someone to do something that will end up making me more money, whether now or the long term, I'm gonna do it. Now we have stuff automated through our CRM, Go High Level. We have stuff automated through advertising and everything. So much stuff is automated. Systems, processes, training, courses, like all this stuff. So if you have sales and you have to train each of your salespeople individually, you're gonna make a course. That's actually how this YouTube channel started. I started talking about selling insurance. That was one of the first businesses I had. And I wanted to teach other people how to do it who are gonna be working for me, or help other people on YouTube who wanted to learn how to do it. So I had that for training, right? And then we have a process for handling leads that come into the business. We created an automation and a process for the flow of those. Process for hiring new people. Like, we have processes for everything now. But when you start, you do not. In this new business I'm starting, it's cool. Like, at first, it's a lot of pain that goes through it and stress, but I forgot what it was like to be in the trenches like that. And I'm getting that new enthusiasm, like obsessed. Work all day, every single day. All I can think about, sacrifice everything else for this. I can't do anything in small amounts. I can't. I have to go all in, 100%, like 130% on everything. Next thing that you run into, and I'm running into right now with my new business, is customer acquisition struggles. So finding and converting leads into paying customers. That can be a challenge, because sometimes you have to teach the leads things about your product so that it can actually start earning a profit or a revenue. So what I have right now, the product I'm making, is going to drive revenue to other people in the the insurance industry, they have to be able to sell the product, right? Or utilize it in a way that can generate revenue. So that's a challenge, right? How to acquire customers. So how do you convert those leads into paying customers? So you have to figure out pain points, and then also how can you help them? That's really what it comes down to. Next thing, overthinking and perfectionism. Speed is very important to the marketplace. So like, how fast can you get your product to the market and make changes and push it? So sometimes overthinking and perfectionism, they don't always really mix well with business, I'm telling you. Like Coca-Cola, I used that before. Dude, it's like a few ingredients. People love it. You don't have to have the perfect product. You just have to get it out there. Don't waste time trying to make your product perfect or branding perfect before actually selling. You just have to go get it out there, and then over time you can refine your products. Because fear of failure is a self-fulfilling prophecy, because you can be so scared that you don't have a perfect product and it won't sell that you never even go to try to sell it because it's not perfect. So I am a perfectionist. I want everything to be perfect, and I have to fight this all the time. So what I do at this stage of my business is I create a product, put it out there, work on selling it or creating a new product, and I tell someone else, hey, go refine this. Hey, find what you think could improve on this, and then I'll approve it. So I put someone else who I know is a perfectionist, way more detailed than me, on it, and be like, all right, bro, check this out. What can be better about this? What can make this a better product? And you're gonna have people like that as you grow your business. You're gonna have the product refinement person, you're gonna have the sales people, you're gonna have the operations people, you're gonna have the HR hiring people. But when you start out, your sales revenue can be inconsistent, which can make planning difficult. So this goes back to what I was saying with the cash flow problem, where you don't want to commit to a lease or anything like that for an office until your revenue is like consistent, especially if you only have a few clients, and then like you lose one and you're kind of screwed. So next is marketing uncertainty. What I mean by that is when you first start a business, you might not know which marketing channels will be best to drive sales for your products. So are cold calls the best? Is door-to-door selling the best? Is cold outreach and social media the best? Is running ads on social media the best? Selling to your friends and family and making a referral network the best? It's like, what marketing channel is the best for you? And right now in the business that I'm starting, we're working on a few different marketing channels. We're looking at, hey, are we cold calling people who could be interested in the product based on lists we have that are business owners? We're reaching out on LinkedIn. We are filling out forms on companies' websites to get in touch with the people who are directors of the people who will be able to use our products. We're trying to test these things out, say, hey, which one of these is best, right? I haven't advertised for it yet. I'm working on that now, but we're trying to see like, hey, which of the cold outreach things, which of those is the best? And you're going to learn that. So like when I sold insurance, when I was actively like selling myself, so now I have agents that sell, but it was like, okay, do I knock on someone's door? Do I set an appointment? Do I try to sell them on the phone? And then marketing channels too, like, am I going to advertise on Facebook, direct mail, TikTok, YouTube, all different things there. I already covered this one here, self-doubt and fear of failure. So many business owners, they'll second guess themselves and hesitate to take bold action. I'm telling you, trust me, taking bold action is fun. At first, it's scary, but once you get through that, man, you feel indestructible. Like right now, going into the second business, I'm like, wow, I love this. I can see myself being like one of those serial entrepreneurs, right? Where it's like, I make a business, it's doing all right. Okay, on to the next. Make a business, it's doing well, on to the next. Or acquiring other businesses over time. The next thing, handling rejection. So we covered this a little bit. Facing no's from customers can be discouraging. You're probably gonna get 90 no's for every 10 yeses, or maybe 99 no's for every 1 yes. But don't focus on the no's. Well, you can. If you want to tally like how many no's you get, then that's a cool way to do it, because then you can figure out how many no's you need to get a yes. And if you're like, okay, well, if I talk to 100 people and 90 of them told me no, but 10 said yes, then I know, okay, every 10 people is going to be 9 no's and 1 yes. To take the emotion out of the no's and the rejection, you can just make it a math formula. That's what I did. I was like, okay, well, I know if I call this many people, I'm going to talk to this many people will give me the time of day, this many people will buy. It can be discouraging, but you got to go through it. You're going to get rejection as business owner. Like, it is what it is. The next one, scaling too soon. If you try to grow before there's a proven, repeatable sales process in place, you don't want to go hire a salesperson until you have a sales process down. If you don't know how to sell the product yourself, you can't hire someone and teach them how to sell it. Like, you may have a great idea, but if you're not a good salesperson, you're screwed. Even these smart guys, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, yeah, they're computer science geeks. I'm a geek too. I consider myself a nerd. I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, that's what they are, right? They're amazing salespeople, like incredible salespeople. You need to figure out your sales process before you hire someone else. That's really what it is. Once you got a repeatable process down, then hire someone else. Next issue you might run into is operational chaos. Without systems like order fulfillment, customer support, and day-to-day management, people that handle that stuff, listen, the day-to-day stuff can get overwhelming for operational chaos. Like literally for me, it was like, I started selling, right? And I sold insurance and everything was good for me. And then as I started hiring people to build an agency, it was like, okay, the ad shut down. I'm going to spend all day handling our marketing campaigns. And then the next day, all day running payroll. And then the next day, all day handling issues with clients. And it was just like, dude, I'm not even doing what I'm good at. When you get to that point and you have revenue coming, it's not a bad problem to have, right? Because we were having so many sales that like we had to handle these things. So it's not a bad thing, but you'll get to that point. As you get to your first $1 million in revenue, there's operational chaos because you're doing so many different jobs. I'm going through it right now. And it's funny because I know how it feels. Like I know how this feels right now at this stage in the business development and at this other business I just am developing. But some of my staff don't. So I can see it, I can hear it in them, and I understand. I'm like, okay, Justin, pull back with the pressure on them because they don't know, they're not used to it. All right, next thing I'm going to cover, we have Leia here, the mascot of the companies. She's actually been with me through the whole process of growing everything. So she is a rider right here. Never complains that I work too much. None of that. Time management issues. Brings to a perfect topic. You might struggle to prioritize the most important activities that generate revenue. Time management is a myth. It's not a real thing. It doesn't exist. I don't believe in work-life balance. I think that's a fallacy. I believe in work-life harmony. Matt Sapala, a pretty successful guy in the insurance industry, said it one day on stage, and I took that. Work-life balance indicates that like you have even parts, equal parts, right? And if you want to build a business and get rich, you're not going to have equal parts of anything. You're just going to have like all business starting out. So time management can be hard. It can be hard on the people in your life too. If you have people who expect time in certain things from you, depending on the individual, right? It may not align with your goals. Business building, sometimes it can be like, hey, my goals in the future are what I want. You know, I'm sacrificing some stuff now and some people might not be on board, but specifically for the business part of it, you want to make sure you're spending a lot of your time on revenue generating activities. So if you don't have a product to sell or you need to generate a product to sell to increase your revenue, do that. Other than that, you should be focusing on activities that directly relate to an increase in sales. So you want to make a list of activities that directly relate to an increase in sales, and you want to make sure that 80% of your time is spent on those activities. So list it out. Sales are important, but if you don't have any products to sell or your product sucks, because you might develop a product and go out and sell it and then no one wants to buy it. That's happened to me, right? When I was first starting this, I had a product, no one wanted to buy it. So back to the drawing board. Next thing, don't hire people before you need them. When you get to the point that you're starting to feel overwhelmed with repetitive tasks and processes, that's when you want to start hiring someone or bringing someone on. You can have an American-based employee. I have a mix of American-based employees and Filipino employees, Philippines-based. Each serve their purpose. So typically when there's person-to-person interactions, I prefer American employees. When there's like background tech stuff or automations or processes or repetitive things, I prefer Filipino employees. They both have their strengths in certain areas, but that's just what I do. When I started doing other things that I realized were cheaper to pay someone to do. So like answering emails, right? I was like, okay, I can't spend 4 hours a day answering these emails. I'm gonna hire someone and pay them to do it, because if I take that time to go sell, then I'll make more. So you really want to try to look at it like that. Next one here is I've been talking about this, product or service adjustments. You need to tweak the offer based on customer feedback. This is a problem you're going to run into, and I'm running into it every single day. You sell a product and then you have to tweak it for your customers. It's going to be the same for you. Your first product is going to be like this block of marble. Very imperfect thing. Then over time, through customer feedback, customer and then user feedback or business feedback, whichever, if you're going enterprise business to business or business to direct to consumer, you're going to get feedback to change and make adjustments based on what they think would be best for the products and how it can help them. You're going to have to tweak the products over time in your first year for sure. Or even maybe not even tweak them, just how you present them. Could be a thing. And the next thing here is emotional burnout. So in the infancy stage of your business, you will probably feel burnt out about some things. Relentless effort is required. Like it's 7:50 right now, PM. I've been up working since 6. I'm filming a YouTube video. I've dealt with my sales team. I've dealt with my staff. I've put out some fires. I've worked on product development. I've worked on sales. I have looked at hiring some people. I've checked out automations, integrations. I've answered emails. I have mapped out goal. Like this is every day. It's not like this is a busy day for me. This is every day. Emotional burnout is something you sign up for when you start a business. At first, if you're just doing what you like doing, you may not feel burnt out. If you like subscribe to this idea that you have to be like happy all the time, you're never gonna be happy. I don't know anybody who's like, I wanna be happy, who is happy? Because you're just saying right there, you're not happy. If you're like, I wanna be happy, you're not happy. So it requires relentless effort mentally, because you constantly have more stuff being added to your plate that you know you need to grow from. Because you have conflicts with people all the time, customers shutting you down, rejection, people quitting, people not doing their jobs right, mistakes, you not doing your job right, you making mistakes, things costing you money, things making you money, the ups and downs, right? But it's worth it, because like this is what you sign up for as a business owner. So I read in this book, I forget what book it is, probably Psycho-Cybernetics, one of the best books I've ever read, by Maxwell Maltz. He says like, don't go to Vegas and get nervous once you spin the roulette wheel or once you pull the slot machine. People will be like, oh, what's it gonna do? Okay, don't go to Vegas if you're scared of losing money. If you're gonna worry about losing money, don't go gamble, right? Because once it's on the table, you can't control any of it. If you commit to building a business, you're gonna be tired a lot of the time. You're gonna feel like you have way too much to do, way more than you can do in a day, and it is. But you'll be surprised how much you can get done in a year. These are sacrifices that you make to accomplish things that other people won't ever do. It ain't for everybody. Make sure you stay on top of your health though, as much as you can. Exercise, eat healthy, drink a lot of water. I always got my gallon. You're gonna get burnt out, but it's okay. Go through it, because no one else is gonna deal with it. The more suffering I can put myself through with this right now, it makes me feel even better about where I'm gonna be, because I'm like, no one else is gonna deal with this crap. Next thing we're gonna talk about here, legal and compliance issues. You gotta make sure you have your contracts, your tax forms, your business stuff in place. Don't worry about it right away, please. So I don't want you to take this and be like, oh my gosh, let me go make sure all this is perfect beforehand. You could probably use Chat GPT for half the stuff now. I don't know. But when you sign contracts with people, make sure you think of all the possible outcomes that could happen. Make sure you learn like local laws and stuff, especially when you start to scale. So contracts, policies, proper business regulations, or registrations. I ran into a couple things at one point where I had some contracts that didn't line up. We made it through, but it just would have been easier. So any legal stuff that happens, you want to make sure. Taxes, please. Taxes, like keep track of your stuff. Next thing, customer expectations versus reality. So I found like the more you charge people, the better their expectations are. I always overpromise and overdeliver. I'm gonna tell you I can do anything, and I'm gonna try to do it. I'm gonna overdeliver, or at least I'm gonna do my best. And if not, I'm gonna be like, dude, I tried my absolute best. Usually I do though. Usually I do. If you sell products that people pay more money for, you're not gonna feel as much of like a customer expectation versus reality conflict. Because if someone has $100 extra at the end of the month to spend, and they give you $20 a month, say you sell some sort of subscription-based service, that $20 to someone who has $100 a month to spend, they give you 20% of their income. That's the same as someone who has $100,000 a month extra to spend, giving you $20,000 a month. So they have the same expectation. The last thing we're gonna cover here is switching on your ideas, switching up on your business too soon or too late. You don't want to give up on an idea before testing it, but you don't want to stick with something too long that isn't working, isn't profitable for you. I have tried to stick with things for way too long that didn't bring me enough profit for the effort and money that I was applying. And I've also given up on things. This is when I was like younger, and I didn't know how much it took to be successful in business, like what you had to do. But you want to make sure you test it. I see new sales reps give up on a script like the second call. Like, oh, they told me no. It's like, okay, yeah, you made 2 phone calls. If you talk to 100 people and you don't have any success at all, maybe it's time to change it up. But one problem that people run into in the infancy stage of their business is giving up too soon and just going for they're always thinking the grass is greener on the other side if they sell some other product or do something else or switch up some other business. But on the flip side, you don't want to just keep trying to sell something that no one wants to buy. I hope this helps you. This is what I have experienced in the infancy stage of the businesses that I've started, and this is what it's like until you make your first million or more in that business. And then after that, it's like 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 50, and 50 beyond for the stages of your business revenue wise. We'll talk about that in another video. I hope you like this. Subscribe, turn on post notifications, and we'll see you guys in the next video.